Good evening, everybody. Friday night, it's Barbers Arms, episode 47. Can you believe that? 47 for the episodes. In conjunction with the British Barbers Association and Wahl UK. Coming up on tonight's show, we're going to be talking everything with me and Gaz on the news desks. A little bit of news, what's happening this week and what's happened last week. 8:15, we've got the Beverly Hills barber, Chris Vaughn. The Barack Obama of hairdressing and barbering is going to be in the house. Join us from California. That's around about 8:15. 8:45, Barbers Arms are going to announce a big PR announcement tonight on this show. You're going to hear it first here tonight on episode 47. We've got a big announcement to make around about 8:45. Gaz's cocktail this week, which is for our American guests. That's going to be around about 8:50. And then we've got a true gent from British Barbering. Robert Ricks is going to be joining us from the Master Barber Company in Southport. That's all coming up tonight, episode 47, in conjunction with British Barbers Association and Wahl UK. Please welcome my co-host, Mr. Gary Machin.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Simon Shaw. It's, as you said, another week gone. We are day 88, week 13 into our third lockdown. Can you believe it? Another fantastic week from last week. We had great guests on. Thank you very much to Mr. Barry Stevens, Ken Picton, and MK. 80,000 views again. Thank you so much to all our viewers around the world, especially all those that are joining us from the Middle East and South America. We're picking up new viewers all the time. So we'll just run straight into Stats of the Week and News Desk.
Yes.
This day in history, Beethoven's death. International Day for Whiskey tomorrow. Something to look forward to, all you whiskey lovers. So we will get slaughtered over the weekend.
For you.
It's the anniversary on this day from 1934. UK driving test was introduced. And America bought Alaska this day in 1867. So they had a good day's business. I think it was about 7 million. So they had a good day's business 150 years ago. Great week, mate.
Good week, very positive, lots of things happening, obviously preparing for training at Wahl for 2021, what's going to be left of it. It's going to be different, we've had to change things around a little bit, but we're really excited. We're doing lots of real positive stuff. And one positive news for us, I've been involved in what's called the Barnsley Boys. It's a project that I can't say too much about it, but it's a project that one of the top magazines is covering in the UK. There's going to be national press, TV stuff involved, but I'm very privileged to be part of this collection. Andrew Barton, past British Hairdresser of the Year. Rob Eaton, British Hairdresser of the Year. Chris and Steve Moody. Obviously, Stephen, we're on the show with Chris a few weeks ago. Stephen was the International Creative Director for Sassoon, and now he's the international man for Weller. Chris is obviously the educator online for people who educate. And we've got Josh Wood as well. Josh is an international session stylist with his own product range across the globe. I mean, he's ooh-zoo. We were on the call the other day and we were talking about the Kardashians, and he said, I've been there and done that. Not personally, but he's been out and done the race. All of us are from Barnsley, and it's probably the hottest bed of who's won British Hairdressers of the Year, going into global positions. And so that's going to be coming up in June. So I'm very excited this week to be part of that. So that's probably my highlight of the week. This week, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a busy week. I mean, great news for Barnsley. I mean, produced some great. If I could have it the other way, if I was talking about Stoke-on-Trent, we've probably got more world champions in darts than anything else. So we had the great Eric Bredstow and a number of others, Ada and all those. We've had, I think we've had four world champions in the darts world. So. That, you know, in comparison, pales into insignificance with the Barnsley Boys. I have got to do a little job that I didn't want to do tonight. A little bit of bad news for everybody out there. I'm going to have to announce that Mr. Bill Shaw, Esquire, died last Saturday. Just after the show, we had the news, 5 o'clock in the morning, Bill passed. He fought a courageous battle against illness for a number of months, and he succumbed to his illness on Saturday morning. Bill, great guy. You know, he was a huge giant of a man in the industry. I know Simon family and started his career with Bill. We had him on the show as well. Bill has been involved with hairdressing all his life, had a hugely successful business. And unfortunately, it would have been his 68th birthday today, which is quite ironic because, you know, we've got the show going out, but we'd like to extend our sympathy to all friends and family to Bill. Just on a personal note, I've known Bill for a very, very long time, 20 plus years. Hairdressing training board when I first met him, where he was treasurer. And then that morphed into Habia. He was treasurer for that as well. And he was chair of the Hairdressing Council, which I'm chair of the Barber Council. So we had a lot of interaction, a lot of meetings, worked very closely on a lot of projects with Bill. And we even had a meeting actually, Simon, didn't we? Together, he brought us together as well. So, you know, father, granddad, did everything he possibly could for the industry. I cannot say enough for him. He was, for me personally, he was a man I could go to for any information. He gave it so freely. And being a Yorkshireman, he had a particular way on giving you any advice in a particular way, and he always had a story. So, you know, I know Simon's gutted about this, so he dropped to me tonight to do this. So, on that.
Thanks, Gary. Last week I got a bit caught with the death of Giovanni. I know we don't want to start the shows off that, but I've composed myself. Thank you for that. This guy was an absolute giant, massive influence on my career. And, you know, I had a struggle tonight, but I know what he'd be saying to me is, get on with it, you daft bastard. But it's... you know, lots of people have spoke to me, lots of people, I know Bernadette and Tina and Carl have been hit by it really bad. And Brittany and Alex, my children, as the granddad. But it was just anybody who spoke to me, it's easy. He was like a friend, he was funny, smartest businessman I've ever met. He was just a giant of a man in this industry. And one thing I've done all week is, instead of feeling like sad about it, I've just thought about the times that we traveled together. You know, we did a tour of Saudi Arabia together. There's just some like really funny stories that I've thought about all week, and I've just giggled to myself all week about certain stuff that, you know, he said and he did and he taught me. And simply, I summed it up last week. You know, my ex-father-in-law, my ex-boss, mentor, hero. Simple. God bless you. God bless you.
Cheers to Bill. I know he'd probably be doing it in Diet Coke, but Bill, cheers. All the very best, mate.
Top man, the toppest man ever in my career. That's all I can say. I'll finish off on that. He loved Barbers Arms, by the way. He used to watch it every Sunday. Tonight's show will be dedicated to Bill. And like you said, it was his birthday today. Can you believe that? And their wedding anniversary. So a real tough day for Burn. All his love goes to Bernadette and the family. But we'll give the best on this show tonight for you guys and for Billy. And tonight, guys, we've got a big show coming up. He used to love it in America. I never forget us both going out to America together. And one of my first trips to Chicago with Wahl. And we ended up buying two sheepskin coats together, and it was so. Some of the stories I've got is just unbelievable. You can't share them as well because they're just personal stories that are so funny. Most people won't get it, but you know, he used to look at you sometimes. I don't know if you're in a meeting and he'd glance with your eyes. His body would turn. He'd just turn his eyes, and that made me laugh. And we just had some amazing times together. And that's it. I've laughed all week thinking of the good times that we had together. So coming up on tonight's show, guys, we've got one of your good mates. And first time I saw this guy, so much stuff I want to ask him tonight as well is a very calming disposition when he's presenting Chris Vaughn. He had that beautiful aroma around him. And I want to speak to him tonight about what we're going to talk about tonight is, how can you pass that on to the young generation coming through? I ain't seen anybody like Chris, even in America, the way he presented himself, the way he worked. You know, I spoke to people who work with him, said his work ethic were unbelievable. He wouldn't even go for a toilet break when he were at exhibitions. He was just a phenomenal. And whether he had 3 people in front of him or if he had 100 people in front of him, his performance was so on point. So I'm really looking forward to getting Chris on tonight. And obviously we've got this big announcement as well. And then Rob Ricks, you know, some of the stuff I want to speak to Rob about tonight is what's the big differences between the old school and the new school? You know, I think that's going to be one of the biggest things, because somebody who's gone and had that massive longevity in the career, so many years. I'm going to ask him tonight, because I don't know how many years he's actually been doing it, but I would reckon it's maybe 45 plus, maybe 50 years he's been in this industry. So it'd be great to get some nostalgia and some old school versus new school kind of differences. So I'm really looking forward to that. We've got some great guests coming on next week for Good Friday. We'll talk to you all that about coming up on Barber's Arms. But Gaz, spoke to a few people in Wales. Spoke to Matt and Dan from Barber Blades. There's a bit of a restriction in Wales at the minute. You can't even travel outside of Wales. I think they've closed the bridge, which they fucking should have done years ago, to be fair. But have you spoke to anybody that's out there working at the minute in Wales?
Yeah, I mean, you just knew that when they opened Wales, I mean, it's quite ridiculous. I mean, you won't just bang everybody's head together, really, when it comes to the devolved nations. But because we are devolved now, and there is that slight, they've got that little pull in what they do and what they say. I mean, you got to feel for people who live on the border, aren't they? I mean, you can literally, one side of the street can have the haircut and the other side of the street can't have the haircut. I mean, it's quite, and you just knew that people were going to abuse the fact. Now, anybody who was caught having a haircut in Wales from England apparently was being able to be fined, which is quite ridiculous when you've got such proximity. So, and you're quite rightly so, they still can't travel out of Wales. I think as well, there's restrictions on, especially certain services, if they can go back. There was a question at one stage whether the mobile services, but they got that ironed out, so they can. And these are all things that we're going to have to put up with when we go back as well. I mean, Scotland go back on the 5th, don't they? 5th of April. Yeah. Again, we're going to have that little disparity on the border, and then we follow them on the 12th. So, but you know, unless it changes, Scotland, they can't do beards, they can't do mobile services until beauty goes back, which is later on in the month. So, you know, everywhere you are in the country, in the UK, should I say, everybody's different. You know, why they can't bring us all back together, I do not know. But, you know, this is the powers that be. I think it's just a bit of sword rattling on the leaders of different devolved nations. So, yeah, we'll have.
Few people have been saying to me, like, you know, what's your traveling? And it's like, I have no expectations, guys, on traveling this year. It's going to happen when it's going to happen. You know, I'd love to be out there. You know, we're building a new team in India, and I'd love to be out there doing that. But I'm going to have to do it virtually for the time being. And I think that's the same for everybody. A lot of people have been talking about holidays, but then you look at some positives there. You know, people might go on holiday in the UK like they did last year. I can see, it's funny, I was speaking to my mum, and she loves to go away 4 or 5 times a year, but they're lucky this year because they're desperate to get away, just going to like places like Blackpool. But Blackpool hotels have all put all on these all-inclusives. I couldn't think of a worse place in the world to have hotels that did all-inclusive. So if you do fancy a real heavy week in Blackpool, they've got some great deals on some hotels there. But fuck it, I'm going to go for a week anyway. Let's just see what it's like. Me. I think it's just people are just saying they just want something to look forward to. And if for this year it gets the economy going back, and I'd rather our hotels in the UK do well than other hotels around the world. You know, let's get the money back in the UK, doing that full circle.
And you know, we've got some little things to look forward to now. 6 people can meet outside from Monday, and we can go into a beer garden in limited numbers. So beer gardens, weather permitting, they're open on Monday, so you can go for a sociable pint hopefully from Monday. So we've got to take these few little bits of chinks of light that we can we can get out there. As you've just said, I don't think we're going to be traveling.
Let's get his heads around it. Let's concentrate on your businesses when you get back. Let's concentrate on keeping this country moving forward and opening up. Do the right thing. And if we have to, look, listen, amazing places in the UK. We'll come back to that at the end of the show. Some of the places that I've earmarked out that I want to visit this year that I just pass sometimes on a motorway. Stonehenge is one of them. Some stuff that I'm going to do this summer to keep it in. But in the house, just pulling into the International Car Park and joining us from California, we have the Beverly Hills Barber. Coming from California, the one and only Mr. Chris Vaughn. Chris, are you in Barber's arms?
Chris, are you there? We are live.
He must be somewhere. I can see him there. He's there. Chris, are you live? We're live on Barber's Arms, Chris. Are you there? Can you put your audio on? Live TV. Here we go. Audio on? Yes.
There we go.
Hey, baby.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Wonderful. And yourself?
Yeah, I'm good. We're ready to talk to you. We're live here in the UK on Barber's Arms, episode 47. Chris Vaughn, the Beverly Hills Barber, in the house. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. Let me get it set up right here. See the best view right here. All right. How you guys doing?
Fantastic. How are you, Chris?
Gary, good seeing you, my brother.
How are you, brother? All right.
I'm excellent. Can you see me? Do I need to come closer?
Come closer, please.
Come a bit closer, yeah.
Let's come closer here.
That's better. We want to see you.
Grab your drink, mate.
What are you drinking, Chris?
Well, I'd like to let you know that I will be drinking some Argentinian red wine, but actually it's cranberry juice.
Do you know what, Chris? I've done
a true pro.
I have to do an inspired cocktail from wherever our guests are. So I've done California in a glass, and I just knew that you don't drink. So this is one for our viewers and not for you, because I've seen you so many places around the world, and you always great company, and you never drink. So you've got some special power there to keep us all enthralled, and you never ever touch a drop, do you? So it's fantastic to have you on the show, Chris. All our viewers all around the world, we're very honoured to have you on the show finally, because I know you're so busy. You're working at the moment as well. Just for two minutes, can you give us a quick bio on who you are, what you are, and where you are, just so all our viewers who don't know you around the world can get a picture of who you are?
Okay, great. All right, I'm Chris Vaughn, Beverly Hills Barber, 40-year veteran in the industry. I'm fourth generation barber stylist. I'm originally from Buffalo, New York, but lived in California the last 25 years, in Beverly Hills the last 20 years. And I am an international ambassador for Oster Professional Products. I've been with them for over 20 years now, and I've met both of you guys traveling the world, and I had the pleasure of working with both of you on different stages, but in the same building. So that's part of what I do and who I am, and I have done a lot of competitions before I got with Oster. Well, my claim to fame was being the first African American to win the national cup, the National Cosmetologists Association for men's hairstyle. So I was a big competition guy before I got with Oster. So I've been in the game quite a while to have seen a big transition in our business. So that's a bit of who I am and what I do.
Excellent. Chris, we were saying earlier, some of the stuff I want to ask you tonight, when I've watched you, obviously on different stages, but we all know, I think the general public, when they go around exhibitions, I work on one stage, Baldy works on another stage, but off that, we're very professional and very friendly to each other. there's no animosity, and there's no, you know, I always want you to do well. The one thing that struck me, Chris, is when I have watched you as well, is it don't matter if there's like 5 people watching you or 150 or 200 people watching you. You are so professional in your conduct and the way you present. So my first question to you is, how, for the younger generation that's watching, because every barber now wants to be a presenter and be an ambassador. It's just, they finish the training, they want to be an endorsement. But in our era, we had to wait for these things. And I think the ones that had to wait for it show now longevity you have in the industry. But if you could pass one thing, first of all, the first two parts of this question. First of all, what is it that you work on to be a good presenter, and how would you pass that on to the next generation? What's the biggest tip you could have for them?
Well, first of all, working on being a great ambassador, for me, I had the fortune of living in California and having aspirations of being an actor. So I have my SAG card. I've done a lot of commercials, so I had a lot of acting classes. So being on stage for me is kind of second nature. And I learned from my mentor from Oster. He taught me, like, you know, we're all on stage, we're actors, so you want to put your best foot forward and rehearse what you have to do. Like, depending on the company that you work for, you have to know the products. Just like an actor, you have to know your line. Just like the company you work for, you have to know the product. You have to know the features and benefits of the products that you're selling. That's number one. And that makes it easy, number one, to be on stage and present. Number two, keeping the energy up is something else that my mentor taught me as well. No matter if there's one person or if there's 100 people there, that one person may not have been there when those 100 people were there. So you have to share the energy and the features and benefits of the products that you're selling. You almost have to repeat them, you know, constantly. So you have to keep that level of energy up. And a second to the third to the second part of your question, to the younger generation that are coming up, really study and know the background of the companies that you want to work for, know the products that you want to sell for that company, be well versed in the features and benefits of the products that they sell, and the people that are with those companies now, follow those people and champion those guys like a Simon Shaw. You see him on stage, you have an opportunity, ask him some questions and pick his brain if you can, and then ask them what you should do next to get with a company and or be in the position that they're in.
I think that's great, you know, information for up and coming, and it's really resonates with me. We're always, we keep to a script, don't we? You know, especially when you're working for a brand. I think when you're not working for a brand and people ask the question, you know, how do I become an educator? Not particularly for a brand, but and it's the same thing though. You got to sell yourself and your skills, haven't you? What you're offering to the crowd. So I think that's really great information for these. I've met you all over the place. I first met you in the UK when you came over and you were working for Denman. And since then, we've obviously bumped into each other all over the world. Just at the moment, Chris, are you still traveling? I just want to get a handle on, you know, how COVID's affected you. Obviously, you're open. You're in California. I know you've had a hard time. You're still still in the John Allen store, your actual barbershop. How's it affected you with your business, with your education, with the barbershop? Because you still work behind the chair as well. How's COVID and all the restrictions affected your business at the moment?
COVID has affected us in a great way. Number one, in the industry, traveling, and here in the barbershops and salons alike. COVID, number one, our last show, I could have seen you at the last show in January in Long Beach, California, was our last show before we shut down in March. We were getting ready to go to a second show in March, and they shut us down days before we were scheduled to go. and then they canceled the whole year. I had Argentina, London was on slate, and San Jose, California, and many more. They canceled the whole year after that. And still, we haven't picked that back up. Now, California as a whole is one of the toughest states. We've been hit very hard, and our governor has been very restrictive for safety reasons and other reasons alike. However, we've been shut down like 3 separate times, which is a yo-yo effect for a lot of people. So salons, barbershops have really been affected. Owners have lost a lot of their workers, a lot of their barbers, because number one, they weren't open and people still needed to make money. If they hadn't been in a position to save and have saved money and positioned themselves for something this major, they had to find a way to earn money with the skill that they have. So a lot of them were doing private house calls, going around to people, and then they figured out that they were making a little bit more money, and they left the barbershops, and a lot of the owners was left high and dry paying the overhead.
I think, Chris, though, this is happening across the UK as well. I spoke to a few barbers who have had to go into, they've done the right thing. They've not gone and done house calls, we're really against that here on Barbers Arms. We've not, but they've gone and got other jobs, call centers, working as a postmaster, post delivery guy, working on site in building sites as labourers. And some of them decided, this is not for me anymore, which is a shame because this industry was such fast growing that everybody wanted to be a barber. And all of a sudden that COVID hit us, quite a lot. So in California, how many lockdowns have you had?
We had 3 separate lockdowns. The first one was for about 2.5 to 3 months, which was a nice kick in the pants. They let us open back up for about 1.5 months, almost 2 months, where we probably would have been better off if they would have left us shut down the whole time, because then that affected some of the money that you could get from the governments, from the PPP loans, the SBA, EDIL loans, that kind of affected that. And some people, a lot of barbers were in position that they could get unemployment because they work for a large company, similar to what I work for at John Allen's, as Gary mentioned. If you work for a company and you're getting a check and that employer is paying into the government for unemployment, for taxes, you were able to get unemployment during that pandemic time, which was a major benefit and a major sustainer for me, aside from having investments and planning for the future and planning for retirement. So that was...
How many staff do you have, Chris, working with you?
Oh, right now I'm back into a studio, a solo studio now, but we had 9 people at John Allen's, as Gary knows me, last working with. And I'm currently at a place that had, salon suites where everyone has their individual studio and you just pay a big company. It was Salon Republic, where you pay a certain price for your studio. Then Gary would have his studio, Simon Shaw would have his studio. You can have a single studio, or you can have 2, 3, 4 people in there working with you, and you put 2 or 3 studios together.
That sounds good. Do you fancy me and Gaz getting a studio? You in the middle, me Gaz on one side, me on the other side. Should we organize that? How much fun would we have?
I think we'd take California over, number one. We run the table in California, baby.
That would be some barbershop, Chris. That would. Perhaps we'd be able to afford to live in Newport if we did that in Orange County.
Okay. I'll drink to that.
Cheers, mate. All the very best. Just quickly talking about California as a whole, and what actually drew you to California? Because I mean, Simon's worked out there, I'm sure. Worked all over California as well, down into San Diego, up to San Francisco, and the BBA's been all on that coast when we opened it up. I mean, beautiful place. Obviously, it never rains. It's great climate. Is that simply what actually affected you? Did you go over there, or as you said earlier, did you go for acting in the first place? But what took you for California as the place you wanted to end up?
Well, number one, what really drew me to California after I did all those competitions that I was involved in Atlanta, I wanted to go to California to really work on movie sets and cut hair on movie sets, because I had got a taste of doing celebrities in Atlanta and a few movie stars here and there and a few athletes and basketball players. So I wanted to go to the large scale and not just being behind the scenes. Once I realized that I had an affinity to be in front of the screen as well and to be on camera, California made too much sense to me. And once I moved out there, the first place that I worked at was on Melrose. And the lady that I worked with, Tracy Johnson, she had a lot of celebrity clients. And one of her barbers was amazing, a gentleman named Kenny Haley. And he did Dr. Dre and every other male celebrity that you wanted. He was a cosmetologist, Simon, but he only worked on men, which kind of shook my head up, because I was a cosmetologist by trade, but I worked on both. And so once I got to California, then I got my barber's license, and I kind of followed what Kenny was doing and just focused on men. Changed my life. So I really went out there to work on movie sets to cut celebrities on film and television.
Do you know what? You're so smooth. I was talking. Johnny King sends all his love, by the way. He's watching the show as we speak, and I know he loves you, and I know you've got a great affinity with Johnny. But he was telling me a story that one of the girls, all the girls had a bit of a thing for you on the Demon stand, and they said he's so smooth. They could lick you all over. He's so smooth. I was like, oh my goodness! Like I said, I can see that happening as well. And now you've said that you want to get into the movies and work on the movie. You have got that persona about you. You're so calm, collected, professional, and you've got the good looks as well. So you've got it all as well. So it's an absolutely fantastic story, and it's great to hear that you can make your dreams come true, mate.
Thank you.
You know, I used to say, when I used to see exhibitions, especially when Barack was the president, that you had a very resemblance to Barack Obama. The way you looked, the way you acted, the way that you held yourself. It was always like, I was drawn to you because you just had a really nice, calming disposition on your audience. And that's one of, as I said, the question that I asked you tonight was, what would you pass on to people who are watching? But I think you've summed it up as well, Gary, haven't you? What is passed on is being organised, knowing about your brand. I can see people, when they're ambassadors, they might be a big name in the industry, but they come and work for a product company, and you can tell that they've only worked with that product that weekend. It's not like the glove. It don't fit.
Yeah.
And I always say, you have to have it as a wand. It's got to be part of your working life. So when you come to exhibitions, you're telling it from ear, not from ear. We're not that clever to do that. So I loved your things. David Gray's watching, Rick Roberts, Ross Carter, Alison Brown, Bernice Fowler, Vagabonds, Barbers, Johnny King. They're all in the house. All our top fans are watching us tonight. So thanks for watching us all. You've got Chris Vaughn here, Beverly Hills Barber. Don't forget, guys, as well, to follow us on our Instagram accounts. This is Simon Shaw Wahl. Gaz is the British Barber. We've got Barbers_arms. Them's our Instagram accounts. We on our website, you've got the britishbarbers.co.uk. And if you want to email us, it's barbersarms@thebritishbarbers.com. We're going to talk about our expo coming up on the 9th of May as well, a little bit later in the show. Chris, one of the next questions I have for you is, obviously the Trump era has gone, Biden's in. Have you noticed any changes yet with the Biden regime? Has there been any major changes in the US?
Slight major changes. We are having a shift in sentiment and people being a lot more respectful to each other. now that we have a different type of leader for us, we have a lot of repair. A major Band-Aid was ripped off during our last administration, as you saw with some of the effects we've had, even on I think it was January 6th. However, since that time, since the inauguration of our new administration and our new president, he has a calming effect on our nation, which we need. However, some of the things that were brought to the light from the last administration needed to be addressed at the same time and around the world. As I have shared stages and rooms with you all, and you've welcomed me, regardless of our backgrounds and our races and our creeds, we get along with no problem in our industry. And I think our world needs to take more of a look at our industry. And since our new administration, I think we have a lot more of that now coming in, where everybody is being a lot more respectful to each other, as everyone deserves respect until they show you otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that is the case, and I mean, it's very hard to get a handle on what's happening in the country when we're still in turmoil with this pandemic, aren't we, as well? So, you know, I'm sure it's early days, and I'm sure I hope that can be. I mean, California as a whole, it's got its, you know, its whole issues and the homelessness and everything else that goes on. So, but I mean, Californians as a whole have quite acceptive, aren't they? They take everybody, all waifs and strays from all around the world, if you like, and they pride themselves in that. But I'm sure what, you know, depending what administration is in there, it does make changes. Just on a more of a lighter hearted look, are you still collecting trainers, sneakers?
Actually, Gary, I had to calm down. I got to the point I just had nowhere else to put them in my apartment.
Well, I was just going to say, have you bought a warehouse yet to store them all in?
No, and then once I figured out, now our younger barbers are wearing their sneakers and their trainers to work, and I wear shoes to work. I didn't wear sneakers to work. And a lot of these gentlemen and young ladies, they have collections would dwarf my collection, Gary. Someone said that a friend of mine said they had like 2,000 pair of sneakers. I was like, what?
Well, do you know, Chris, one of our team out in America, Garland, G-Wiz?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Garland's got the biggest collection of Nikes I've ever seen. And I think it was not last year, year before, probably 2018 last time I saw him. Or would it have been? No, it was 22. Actually, last January I saw him in Chicago. And he told me a great story, is that instead of keeping them now, he recycles them and he keeps all the boxes. And it's like he said, the collection's that big that it was just taking up wardrobe space, always space and everything. And he takes them out now to homeless people.
Yes. Yes.
And I thought that, well, you know, he's had his use out of them, and he's like, when he wears them, he puts them back in the tissue paper, he wipes them all, so they look pristine every time he wore them. And like I said, I've kept some real collector's items back, but it's just the rest of my stuff, you know, after a couple of years, if I'm not wearing them, I might have only worn them twice. I'll go out and I'll give them to people who need them more than me, and I thought that was a fantastic idea.
Simon, you mentioned giving them away, and Gary, bringing up the sneakers. Within the last 4 months, I gave away 20 pair of sneakers. You brought up the homeless situation in California. I gave away 20 pair of sneakers to some homeless people. Number one, I wasn't using them. I had gotten my use out of them, and they were in pristine condition, Simon. So I blessed some homeless people that needed.
Good man. Yeah, good man. Before we move on to Rant or Rave, which is part of our show, Chris, that Gary's going to introduce to you, one last question I want to ask you is, for all our viewers around the UK and around the world, what's Chris Vaughn's biggest achievement in his career?
My biggest achievement, for me, representing my family the best way I possibly can and could over these 40 years. However, I'm really most proud of the National Cosmetologist National Cup Male Hairstyling Award that I received. I was in my 20s when I won that. And that lady, she was called the Queen, who gave me inspiration to win and know that I could win. She saw something in me that I didn't really know that I had, but she gave me the encouragement to study, work hard, and win that competition over gentlemen that have been working in that working and winning that competition. So that's really one of my biggest achievements there.
And I think it's really important, for all our viewers, who are watching. We've got Donny from Brazil who's watching. I know he watches every week, and I think is it his son Gary or his son-in-law that translates to him? He's the president of some federation out there, the Barbering Association out in Brazil. But Donny, hi, thanks for watching Barbers. We've got Chris Vaughn here, the Beverly Hill barber, and he's just told us what he's done with his amazing achievement and his amazing career. What a gent he is as well, and a pleasure to have on the show. Gary, it's getting to that point where it's rant or rave for Chris. Do you want to tell him what's going to come up?
Yeah, so Chris, we do a little spot on the show where you have 2 minutes to rant or rave about a particular subject. So production team, can you spin that wheel for us? And while the wheel is spinning, and we don't know exactly what's going to come up, we're going to give you a subject, and it could be anything from royalty to barbering to, past presidents. It could be absolutely anything, and it's going to pop up on our screens in a minute. And your subject is going to be modern gentlemen. So you have 2 minutes to rant or rave about modern gentlemen, sir. Over to you.
It's on me now?
Yeah.
Well, modern gentlemen, part of what I've learned about being a modern gentleman, number one, I learned from my father. Number two, as in my travels to the UK and to the international show where I met a lot of you gentlemen right there, and the pride that you take in our industry and the pristine look of all the barbers and the care and the professionalism that all of you gentlemen take and appreciate and uphold. The standard of the true gentleman is really the British barber, to be honest. So I took a lot from you. I had a lot with me, but once I came and met you all and worked with you all, I saw where the barber industry was going, and seeing how you gentlemen was pushing the envelope to raise the standard in our industry, and really being true gentlemen on stage, moving forward, working hard, teaching, educating. Another gentleman that comes to mind is Kevin Vorley, K Barbers. Is it K Barbers? Kevin Vorley, just a true gentleman in all respects of the word, and how you carry yourselves and how you dress. Gary, you're always dressed nice. Simon, always dressed nice on stage, and myself alike. So true gentleman right there is just raising the standards and still opening doors for ladies and walking on the outside and things like that, and treating everybody like you would want your mother or your sister, especially women, to be treated. That's really what a true gentleman comes to mind for me.
Well done, sir. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I couldn't think of anybody else who could pull that off any better. You're absolutely fantastic. Just quickly, we're time's running out now. I've just got one quick question before Simon finishes off. You've traveled the world. You've done and been to a lot of places. Is there anything else in your career is there any boxes you haven't ticked yet that you would, if you call it, whether it be a bucket list for yourself or within your career, is there anything there that you haven't ticked off that you would love to do?
Honestly, one thing I do want to say, number one, I'm good. If something happened to me tomorrow, I want everybody to know, like, this kid lived, this kid did it. If it happens tomorrow, I'm good, Simon. I'm all right. However, another thing that I'm very proud of that I would put on my bucket list that I've actually had an opportunity to accomplish is working the stage in Argentina. Argentina, I did a show for them last year for Green and White and Hair Cadis. That was so much fun. I had such a good time. I knew, I was like, now, if I don't do another show ever again, this was it. And what they needed, Simon and Gary, they brought me down there to give them a show, to give the audience a show. So I had the main stage where I had to do a presentation. As we know, I had 5 models. And once I got there on Saturday and did the rehearsal in salon, I wasn't supposed to prep models that day. I didn't have any equipment. I just came with Green and White. They just brought me in just to see. And I asked them, I was like, wait, I can do some prep today because what you guys want a show. I'm from Hollywood. I'm from Beverly Hills. I'm going to give you a show. So give me some clippers. Let me prep 3 of these 5 models. And tomorrow, watch what happens. And I can tell you, some of the pictures are here on the wall, actually, from the show. It was like the pinnacle. And at the beginning and the end of the show, it was one of those shows where you can just raise your hands up and be like, thank you. Thank you.
Good man.
Nice. Fantastic, mate. Well, it's been a pleasure. I'm going to hand you over to Simon now. He's just going to have a little bit of fun and we're going to finish off the interview, mate. So speak to you in a minute.
Chris, pleasure to interview you, mate. And I can't wait to see you in person for a cranberry juice together. I might slip a vodka in mine, but it will look the same. Bro, it's been great to see you. We'll finish off with some quick fire questions to build up a little profile for our viewers and for our archive on Chris Vaughn. Chris, what's your favourite food?
My favorite food is salmon, fish.
Salmon, fish, baby. What's your favourite drink?
My favorite drink is water.
What's your favourite destination? Where's the favourite place you love to be?
Malibu, California.
Favourite music?
My favorite music is blues and jazz. Blues. Muddy Waters, baby.
And who would be your ideal dinner date? Who would you like to have? It could be it could be anybody, but from the past or present, or who would you like to have a real one night where you think just me and him or me and her, this is it. I'd love to do that.
Actually, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Okay, we have Chris Vaughn, the Beverly Hills barber. Me and Gary know him very well. I'm sure tonight's come over in the interview. What a gent, what a master. If I had anything to say to him as well, I would always say, whenever he's ready to hang his clippers up, come and work with us as well. The real #1 clipper company. Can't resist that, Chris. You're a true pro, mate. Absolute true pro. I always love seeing you in an exhibition. You're a very charismatic character and a real pro. But we've got Chris Vaughn. He's having his favourite dinner, which is any fish dish, but his favourite fish is salmon. He's having his favourite drink, which is water. He's doing all this in Malibu, California. He's listening to some fantastic blues music, and he's doing all this with the amazing Martin Luther King Jr. Ladies and gents, on Barbers House for the first time from California, Mr. Chris Vaughn. God bless.
Chris, it's been an absolute pleasure, sir. Hope we see you on stage very soon. We'll have a cranberry juice and catch up and have a right natter about all things barbering. Thank you very much for being on the show, sir.
Gracias. Thank you. Thank you, Simon. I appreciate it. This was wonderful. Call me anytime.
Top man.
Cheers.
What a nice guy, Gary.
He's one of my favourites. I bumped into him at most shows we go to abroad. We always manage to have 5 minutes. I think the last show before LA, I think was Toronto. I saw him and we sat for an hour. And of course he doesn't drink, so I had an hour of not having a drink at all because he was sitting there with his water. So I caught him in the foyer. We had 5 minutes, and it turned into an hour with, and so that's what I say. He can keep. He doesn't need a drink. I didn't need a drink. He's just a pleasure to be with, and an absolute wealth of knowledge. He's just a lovely fella.
True pro. Yeah. True pro. One of my favourite, not colleagues, but one of my favourite people to see at any exhibition. I'll always make a point of going across and shaking his hand, and you know, people who know me know I'm a people's person, but I'm a funny fucker as well. So I've got you, or I haven't got you, and I get him, even though he works for a different product company. I get him. He's a great guy, great pro. What a great interview. He just comes over superb, and you know, when you ask him about Rant to Rave, there, you know, it impresses me every time we go. When people just reel it off, I look at the subject sometimes. I think I'd struggle with some of these subjects. Like what?
I know. Yeah, you know what? It's surprised because obviously we don't know the subject either. It surprises me when people get put on the spot how well they deal with it, and I think, oh, that's brilliant how he's come across with that or whatever. But I'm exactly the same. I thought, no way.
So before your cocktail tonight, we've got a PR announcement from Barbers Arms. It's a news flash. We would like to announce on Barbers Arms, starting from tonight onwards, we've been in negotiations with one of the top media magazines in the UK, and we would like to announce tonight that they're going to be part of our expo. But they're also going to be part of our Barbers Arms as well, each week fetching you the news desk. So as first on Barbers Arms here on episode 47, we would like to announce that our new media partner for Barbers Arms and our news desk that's going to be a feature every week is going to be the one and only, the amazing BarberEVO Magazine. So joining us at Barbers Arms for the first time, but it's going to be a regular feature every week. We have Andrew Brewster and David Foster. Welcome to the family, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys. Welcome to the family, and it looks like you're going to be on our screens as much as us now.
Absolutely.
Oh. You're both on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Perfect. Yeah, listen, great to be here. I've got to say, guys, great show thus far. Chris, I mean, this sneaker collection, I think the only person that could rival that is Andrew, because it's getting out of hand. The guy's got an illness with trainers. I mean, honestly.
Fresh out of the box for tonight, lads.
Do you know, gents, it's funny. Obviously, we've had a bit of a chat, you know, about this the last couple of weeks, but I've got to say, you know, you guys must have blown that budget, because we were told you were looking for Ant and Dec, and you ended up with Andrew and David. I mean, fucking hell.
Hey, listen, you could be the new Ant and Dec of this show, though.
As long as I'm Ant, I'll be Ant. He's the wild one, yeah.
Listen, there's method in Trevor's madness here, you see. We've got to look at the age of Gary, and he's not getting any younger. I'm all right, I'm a bit younger than him. But we're going to have a look at the next breed of people coming through. So it's progression, it's just moving forward. Guys, we've got lots to talk about quickly, because obviously you're going to introduce our next guest tonight, who's getting into the car park shortly. But this is going to be a new feature on Barbers Arms. You're going to be fetching, well, what are you going to be fetching, Andrew? What's going to be happening each week? And David, what's going to be happening each week on the news feature from BarberEVO?
Yeah, listen, it's an absolute honour. So we're going to be bringing our own kind of style, if you like, to the Barbers Arms. Obviously, BarberEVO, we've been out there producing and finding all the relevant news in the industry on a regular basis. So I think, you know, we're going to inject something a little bit different. As you say, we're going to lower the age profile significantly
Not much.
of the show. Sorry, guys. We're going to bring regular news, what's happened since the last edition. We're also going to open it up. We're going to invite, you know, our following and indeed the Barbers Arms following to get in touch, drop us a line if they want us to mention anything special that's happening. Giveaways as well, magazine giveaways. Andrew, I think you were thinking subscriptions as well.
the full shebang. We're getting our partners involved. So every week we'll do a bit of a giveaway with subscriptions and products and whatnot, you know. So there's a bit there for everybody, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, again, you know, partnering with the Barbers Arms, I think, you know, it's been said before, but what you guys have done in this past year, you have connected the barbering industry more so than it has been in quite some time. And, you know, doing it through these challenging times, these challenging moments. Let us take the load off for you for 5 minutes once a week, and we'll see if we can add a little bit of magic in amongst it all.
Well, we're really looking forward to it, and there's lots of people just messaging now on the monitor either saying, are we going to have, are you just UK, are you going to fetch the news in from around the globe?
Yeah, listen, that's a great shout as well. So around the globe, BarberEVO and SalonEVO, obviously we've got a North American version of that. So we're going to bring something for everybody. Again, we just want to infuse it with a little bit of what we do. Not to change it up too much, but think of it when you go to the, you know, the sports presenters or the weather presenters or something. You guys are doing the 9 o'clock, the 10 o'clock news. We're just coming in telling you that Rangers won the league, you know, whatever else.
Hey! And Sunderland won the cup.
Yes, the pizza cup.
Absolutely.
By the way, the trophy's bigger than what Rangers get. The trophy's huge, you know, for such a diddy cup, but we'll take it.
Do you know what, guys? It's going to be a great partnership, I'm sure. And we're also partnering on the expo that we're going to be bringing to all the viewers on the May the 9th as well. So really excited about that as well. It's something that I think our viewers will value as well, is another perspective as well. It gives us a break, go to the toilet, I suppose. Well, Simon go to the toilet, but it also brings us another part to the show that we can't bring. So we're really excited with working with you, and I'm sure it's going to be a great success.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, Gary, I know you like to do cocktails for your guests, where they're from and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not really sure what you can get from Sunderland, but I know Glasgow, some kind of Tenants mixed in.
It's close enough for a brown ale, guys.
Brown ale Tenants. What can you do with that? We'll be asking you next week.
I'm not being funny, Andrew, but it's Tenant super out of a broken glass, isn't it?
Just about with a Savoy dip to go along.
Come on, guys.
And it's going to be a great feature every week on the show, and I'm sure with the expo that starts on the 9th of May as well, Andrew and David will be in touch with lots of people who watch around the world. See if you want to be part of our fantastic expo. Just looking at it each week as well. If people want to get in touch to send any stories in and or any topics that they've watched from the show before or things that's happened that week, is there any contacts that they can get you guys on?
Absolutely, yeah. So either on the Instagram account, which is just at BarberEVO, on our Facebook page, just drop us a message on that. What we'll do as well, we're obviously going to post about it every week. So even if you're dropping something in the comment section, let's be honest, you know, these guys are top class, top drawer. So if you want to kind of get in through the back door of me and Andrew, if you want to get your name mentioned on the show, whatever else, then then drop us a line. So at BarberEVO on Instagram and BarberEVO Magazine on Facebook.
By the way, if I ever come back on, I'm getting the filter that he's got. He's not that tan. He's not that smooth. He's been messing with my machine. I look a bit. The lighting's not great for me, but he definitely doesn't look like that, guys.
Well, one's sat outside cheers, the other one's inside cheers. But look, guys, we're really looking forward to BarberEVO being the main news desk of the week, every week, and part of the Barbers Arms Expo as well. Really excited to sign up this week with you guys. I know we've been speaking a few weeks about it, but it's great to have you on board, boys. You're part of the family, guys. Every week you're going to be able to see the BarberEVO news desk every week on Barbers Arms. Andrew Brewster and David Foster are going to be joining us every single week on Barbers Arms. A little bit earlier than what we had tonight. We've run over a bit, and we're going to jump into Gazza's cocktail before we get our next guest on. But guys, we'll see you all next week. I know you're going to introduce our next guest, but we've got Gazza's cocktail to do first. But guys, we'll look forward to seeing you next week on Barber's Arms on the BarberEVO news desk. Can't wait to see you
So,
both.
looking forward to it.
Thanks,
Thanks
guys.
everybody.
Our reporters there from the Evo desk.
That's it. So what we've got is today. I mean, good God, how good is that? How great is it? We're going to be like a professional show at this rate.
It is. You heard what Errol said to you.
I know. Hey, what a great. We won't say because we.
No, not going to spoil it, but hey, didn't he push the boat out?
Oh, brilliant. So, guys, what we've done today is we've got our cocktail spot, and I'm going to do this really quickly while Simon goes back road. So we've got Agent Orange. Agent Orange, it can be a few things to different people. Don't think of the Agent Orange that was used in the Vietnam War. We're not talking that Agent Orange. We are talking Agent Orange because of Orange County. California is where our great first guest, Mr. Chris Vaughn, and I forgot about Chris asking him about his name as well. I'm going to get that back on him as well. So we're going to use our shaker as usual. Going to put some ice in there. I'm going to put some ice in my old-fashioned glass as well because we're going to strain into that so it's already ready. So first of all, we've got, and I've got my jigger here. So we use our jigger. So we're using 30 ml of vodka. So put that in there, that goes straight in, 30 ml of vodka. We've got our Cointreau, which we're going to use about 15 ml. And you can see the orange flavors going in here now. So all will become apparent. So we have about 15 ml, so half a jigger of Cointreau, that goes in. Then we've got some Grand Marnier. So this only usually comes out for Christmas for most people, I think. And this, actually, I bought a brand new bottle for this, actually. For some reason, I couldn't find it in the bar. There's so many bottles there now. I've bought a new bottle anyway. So we've got Grand Marnier here going in our jigger again, half again. That goes in. So we've got our orange here that I bought earlier. So we just want some of the zest, but we're going to do that as we finish. And then we're going to have 60 ml of orange juice in here. So it's, let me just get in here. So it goes in there, 1, 2, 3. So there's one, and then half again. So that goes in. A few great ingredients here. So we're going to put our shaker on now. As you can see, so we knock that off. We've got our, and it's just coming in here. Let me just finish that off. So that just goes on there. So our glass, and we're going to tip that in, strain it in. And we've got the zest of an orange, which I'm just going to squeeze in there. We just want a little bit of the oil in. You can throw that in there. So there we have it, Agent Orange. It's our glass full of sunshine all the way from California. We've been all over California with the BBA. Absolutely beautiful place. This is to you, Mr. Chris Vaughan. If you were a drinker, this would be your drink. All the very best. Hope you enjoy, everybody.
Cheers, guys. Cheers, Chris. Cheers, David and Andrew. I think, guys, as well, you've got some, we were saying to Gary earlier, he's done 47 different cocktails. Fair play to you, mate. You've done really well with them.
That was beautiful.
Instead of being headhunted now by any barbering companies or Ian Beale, he's now been headhunted by different cocktail companies all across the UK to go and show him some of Gaz's cocktails, because every week they look fantastic. He does them really well. And fair play to you. I know when I saw Joth's video last week, he said, keep your cocktails going. I know a lot of people reciprocate your cocktails, Gary, the week after or on the Saturday night, which is really, really good. Really good.
I really recommend that one. If you want a little pick-me-up, a little bit of sunshine, that is absolutely beautiful. Just reminds you, I was talking, you know, when we had Chris on there, we worked all over California, but I ended up staying in a place called Newport Beach. It's the most wealthiest area in Orange County. And he served me one of them up as I got to the bar. So that's my memory of Orange County. Absolutely beautiful.
Nice.
I think we've got our guest.
Is he here? Is he pulled into the car park? Is he in the house?
I think he's on the verge. We're just about ready for Mr. Robert Ricks, I think. I'm just going to open my next beer. What have you been drinking tonight, by the way?
Oh, I'm on Liquid Valium, Desperados. Hey, guys, just to let you all know as well, I had my vaccine today. So I had my first vaccine today at 2:30. And contrary to a lot of my friends who told me that I'd be really ill and I won't be feeling really good, I feel top draw. I don't know if it's the paracetamol and the Desperado, but I don't look as good as our next guest. Our next guest has got a massive career in this industry, stretching over probably 5 decades. And tonight we're going to ask him some questions about lots of different stuff from old school to new school. But ladies and gentlemen, please welcome in Barbers Arms for the first time, the one and only Mr. Robert Ricks.
Hello.
How are we
doing,
Robert Ricks?
Hi, Gary. Hi, Simon.
Are you well?
I'm fit as a flea, yeah.
Good.
You're sporting a magnificent beard there. Is that a lockdown beard, or is that something
that started on the first day of lockdown, and I'm just going to grow it until I open the shop again.
Well, I'm sure with a bit of luck, fingers crossed, mate. We've got 2 weeks on Monday. We should be back and fighting fit and standing behind that chair.
Yeah, well, I mean, my beard will go on probably on the first day, because I've literally grown it so I can get my apprentices to shave it off.
They won't have time, mate. That first one, they won't have time.
Guys, just to clear up for everybody who's just joining us, if you're joining us from around the world or if you're watching it through the week and you just joined into this, you are watching Barbers Arms and you're not watching Smurfs with Papa Smurf in the house. Get it shaved off, Robert.
Robert, you've been in the barbering industry for how long?
60 years in September.
60.
Oh, I got it wrong then. I'll try to be kind to you, Robert.
Yeah, I started in 1961. So
Wow.
Come September, I'll have got 60 years in.
Just to make you feel a little bit better, I was born in 69.
Well, for everybody who's just watching as well, he's just said he's been in there 6 decades. Looks fantastic. We know him personally as well. What a great guy he is. But coming up on your screens right now, guys, is the cover of BarberEVO, where him and his son Dan featured on the front cover of BarberEVO. That's coming up on your screens right now, and you can tell us whether messages in, phone him, email us, whatever. Does he look better with the beard or without the beard? There's the BarberEVO front cover now, seen up on your screens. And, you know, this is a great thing to have you on that front cover, Rob, though. I thought you looked fantastic. You and Dan, I've worked with Dan. I spent a few nights with him in Dubai with Gary, actually. When we were over in Dubai doing a show, we ended up going to a few events together while we were over in Dubai. But Robert, my first question is to you. In the 6 decades that you've worked, and we've had no one on the show that's had that longevity in the career and still doing it and still very active in the industry and the business. What's the main differences between the old school and the new school? What would you say is the biggest differences that you see from when you started in them first probably 10 years to these last 10 years? What have you noticed as the biggest differences?
Well, you've hit the nail on the head when you talk about in the last 10 years, because there's been a complete sea change in the industry in these last 10 years, which hadn't happened for the preceding 50. It was a very, very stagnant situation until this last 10-year period, and then it's moved diametrically opposite to what it was before. There's been a huge influx of new workers into the industry. I honestly think that standards have declined, and I put that down to poor training, and maybe not just poor training, but the lack of necessity for training. The qualifications that I had to achieve, I did a gents apprenticeship, I did a ladies improvership, I did my City and Guilds wig making course, I did another course on health and hygiene in the salon. You know, so I had a very, very immersive training in the industry, and now, you know, with a standard formal apprenticeship, you can be there in 2 years. It took me 5.
I think, Robert, you know, we're talking. I mean, I don't profess to be in the industry as long as yourself. You know, I'm a mere lad in comparison. I've been in the job 36 years, coming up to 37. I think what it is as well, from a qualification point of view, it's if it's of value, you know, and where you get that training. I think I was an indentured apprentice, and Simon had a great training as well. I think it's where you do it. I think if you choose to do the job properly, then you get proper training. You get, you know, quality training. I think everything, and we've talked about this on the show before, so I'm not going to labour this point too much. But I think in our times at the moment, everything has to be instant, doesn't it? Instant food, instant coffee, instant training. People don't expect to be time served anymore. They just need to be either have that piece of paper or be able to earn money, and then they want, you know, 5, 6, 7 thousand pound a week, whatever ridiculous wages they expect.
Exactly, because you use the word instant several times there. A lot of people are searching for instant success, and that doesn't come quick. You've got to work at it.
Yeah. And Simon's, you know, a true believer. You know, we don't have to go anywhere like that with a lot of our viewers. But I think with a lot of people at the moment is, you know, they want to get into barbering. It's cool to be a barber at the moment, which is great for our industry, and we want people to come into the industry. But you know, we want it to be done properly, and we want to be registered. I know you're a great fan of registration, state registration. You've followed it for a long time. You've been on the panel for a long time, which I appreciate you totally. And we need people of your caliber to offer advice. But I know you decided to step down because you wanted to take a back seat now, and within the industry, within the business. But just from your point of view of your business, just tell us how you run your business for starters, because I know Dan's watching tonight. He's a great guy. He's worked with us at the BBA. You almost breed a family culture within the shop. You're a one location business, but absolutely beautiful, high on retail. Just give us an idea of you know, the kind of how you employ your staff, and you know, with your apprentice, how you value your apprentices as well.
Well, everybody is employed. We've tried chair renting in the past, and for us, it's not worked. We run a very, very tight ship. You know, we have standard working practices that we follow, and you know, that goes from the top to the bottom. I do everything exactly by the book, and I expect everybody else to do it by the book. That's become very, very poignant at the moment with with COVID. We've had to create documented working practices. And as I say, we literally work by the book. Apprentices, we run on the standard NHF 2-year apprenticeship form. We push them through level 2, level 3. Everybody, we're very, very big on shaving. So everybody has to learn how to shave and become very, very proficient at it. So it's not just about hairdressing, it's about male grooming in totality.
Yeah, I think you're right there as well. It's like in an hairdressing salon, sometimes in the old days, there was one person who could do long hair. And I think from time to time, in a barber shop, there was one person who was good at shaving. Now it has to be, whatever's on them service boards, every single barber has to be able to do that at a top level. Yeah. If you're going to say we do shaving, every one of them has got to be, super professional at it and super good at it. Because, it's like in a restaurant, oh, we haven't got the chef on tonight that does the Chateaubriand, so you can't have that tonight. It's on the menu, though. So I get that. Rob, before we start to loosen you up a little bit, we talked about the difference between old school and new school with barbers in general.
Yeah.
What have you noticed the biggest thing about your business, though, from when you started to where it is now? What's one of the major things that's different in business in the barber shop?
Well, the business we run now is all appointment, right? When I started in my career, we worked a lot on walk-ins. Appointments were the rarity. Appointments were something that we did after closing. So the preparedness of customers to wait has gone. I can remember early in my career working my way through a queue of 14 that were sat waiting, and they sit there for 2.5 hours. That's gone. And again, it's this instantaneous culture that we live in now. People want to service there and then. But as I say, we're working totally on appointments now, and that's been a good thing, since the pandemic.
Do you know what? I think that's probably one of the plus points coming out of all the pandemic that's actually happened, Robert. You run your business very similar to us. You have the same standards, the same morals, the same way of working to a high standard. But I think, I had to come kicking and screaming. If the government hadn't made us, I probably wouldn't have gone fully over to appointments. But customers love it now, don't they? I think that's a big change that's actually happened. And from our point of view, it's a plus that we can take from all this shitstorm that we've been in. Can I just break into, because you're very famous within barbering and hairdressing, and quite unbelievably, some people, unless you put it down in black and white and won the trophy for it, people wouldn't actually believe the amount of retail. And I know this is very close to Simon's heart as well, because he actually teaches these and inspirational talks and everything else for Wahl. The amount of retail you sell, and if we quoted the numbers, people wouldn't believe us. And we're invariably, Bob's terrible.
There might be a taxman logged on.
No, I don't want any numbers actually spouted, but your percentages of your business, and I've been to your shop and met you and your staff, and Dan, your credit, but barbers generally are terrible at retailing, aren't we? Most hairdressers have got a handle on it. Some hairdressers have got a great handle on it, the big chains. But from a barbering point, Give us top 3 tips of how to improve retailing for our barbershops. But also, if you could give us the value of it, you know, why you do it and why you spend so much time and effort on your team, but retail for you, and just let us know how many awards you've won and how many times you've been a finalist as well for that.
Well, the quick answer to that is a lot, and I'll have to count. I'll have to count whilst I'm talking. But retail, we stock a very, very wide range of products, and a wide range of different manufacturers. We try to go for the upper end of the market. One of our watchwords was, if you can buy it in Boots, you can't buy it from us. So we're looking at, you know, the more unconventional, the higher end of the market. You know, we're knocking colognes out at 150, 200 pounds a bottle. You know, and we'll stock that in depth. We also never try to say no. You know, if a customer asks for it, usually we've got it on the shelf. You've got to commit a lot of capital to be able to do that. And I mean, at the high point, we were carrying nearly 100 grand in stock, but we got the sales to justify it. So obviously lockdowns come bloody hard for us, you know,
Yeah.
Because that trade is not coming back. You know, they're not going to come in on opening day and I'd say, oh, I'll have 2 or 3 bottles of cologne instead. You know, so those sales have lost, and they've been lost to the internet.
Yeah.
I think though, Rob, what you've just said there, Gary, part of my motivational speeches and stuff is some barbers, they don't realise that if they don't buy it from them, I'm not going to go into it too much and it's going to sound really like not as in depth, but I show them a technique about, as a client leaves you, if they will wash their hair, they will style their hair, they will use a cologne in between their visits to that shop. If they're not buying it from you, they're buying it from somewhere else. When you said the Boots thing though, the average price for a product in Boots, an average price, is still 6.5, 7 quid for a male product. So this is what I try and say to barbers is that you think, oh, they're going to buy it from Boots because it's cheaper, or Superdrug or whatever, or another top brand chain, but it's not. And the professional advice that you're giving, that's the difference in terms of the unique product that you have. And it's all about product selection. It's all about the you know, you don't want to have products there. It's like if you go to your dentist, I've been to my dentist today, look at their all new pasties. If I got up and did a swill and it was Listerine, I'd be like, oh, I'm buying Listerine for £1 at Asda. You know, why am I using? It's, you want the professional advice, you want the professional product that you can't get anywhere else. So I'm really into it. And when you say you carry that kind of stock at any point as well, that shows you're serious into retailing. Robert, over these 60 years though, what's, just try, I'm going to put you on the spot, but give us a funny story. What's one of the funny stories that really sticks out in your memories?
Christ almighty. Doing it wrong.
Tell us.
Right. Now, you're a Yorkshireman like I am. You'll know a little mining town called Mexborough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not far from me, about 8 miles that way.
So I'm working in London. I'm making good wages and I'm banking my wages every week because I'm living entirely off my tips. I come home to visit my parents one weekend and they said, oh, did you know that Fred Coles had died? Fred Coles was the local barber in Mexborough. I said, no, I didn't. I said, you gave me my first flat top. So, flat top now. So they said, his widow's selling his shop. So I said, oh, how much is it? She said, oh, they want £200 for it. This shop was on West Street in Mexborough. So over the weekend, I talked about it with my parents, and I said, "Get it bought. I'll pay you next week. I'll pack it in London. I'll come back to Yorkshire and work in Mexborough." On the Friday night that I finished in London, my last haircut was £4. Came back to Mexborough and opened that shop up a few weeks later, because I decorated it and what have you in those few weeks. I opened it up and I decided to go 6p dearer than all the opposition. And the opposition were on 4 shillings. And I went on at 4 and 6p. And at the end of the first day, I'd done 20 haircuts and I'd took £9. And I thought, Rob, you've done it wrong.
Well, that just shows everybody who's listening as well what kind of differences there were between the south and the north, and it still is. It still is a little bit there. I think we're bridging the gap. But I didn't know you were. I know you were a Yorkshireman. I didn't know you came from Mexborough, which is obviously. Is that a borough of Rotherham? Would it class under Rotherham, or is it Barnsley?
It's actually Doncaster.
Is it Doncaster?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Jackie. It's Jackie, you're watching tonight. It's your land, Jackie. Yeah, it's not far.
I used to live in the next village to Jackie in Tickhill.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Do you know what, Robert? Though doing it wrong, when that comes to mind is when we've had all the. I mean, you're a stalwart to the Barber Council, and I salute you for that. So you supported it all your life, and you sat on the panel for me. Doing it wrong is probably one thinking we could get 1 pint, or in your case, 1 extra Malbec in before we got on the train. And how many trains have we?
I think it cost me 140 quid to get home that night.
What are you drinking tonight, Robert?
Malbec, actually.
You know, it's the only red wine, Gary, I can drink, but I can't drink it because I think I did it once about 10 episodes ago. I drank red wine and I forgot what happened on Saturday. It was just like it does. But Robert, you look absolutely fantastic, mate. And we've known each other for I think I first met you at the Barber Council meeting. And obviously I've met your son and stuff, and I've seen the business, and you got nominated for the Wahl Barbershop of the Year as well 2 years ago.
Yes,
What's your most memorable part of your career, would you say? What's the most part that you think that's the part that I really loved? Which kind of, can you pin it down?
When I was an apprentice, my boss died before I'd finished my time, and in those days you were bound to the man and not to the shop. And when he died, his widow decided to liquidate the business, and so there was no job for me. So I was stuck. I'd done 2 years out of my 3 years, and I got nobody to carry it on. So I jumped on a train and went to London. Master Cutler from Sheffield, 53 shillings. So went to London and found a guy there to take me on for my last year. And he as well as running his shops, he got us an academy. And I used to moonlight in that academy. And I was actually teaching the job whilst I was learning the job. And that was a fantastic grounding for me. What's the question?
What was the most memorable moment of your career? What would you say? Is this it? Is this the most memorable moment?
No. I used to when I was working.
Rob, you just wanted to tell us that. You invented the question just for answer that, didn't you? Then.
When I was working in London, I used to walk up Kensington High Street at lunchtime, and there was a ladies' salon there, and it was full of cracking-looking girls. And I thought, it's time to change sides. So I packed in gents hairdressing and I went into ladies. And just purely for chasing women.
That's the most memorable part of your career. Yeah, fair play to you. Fair play to you.
Yeah.
I like it.
But it gave me a different qualification.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think when you learn the ladies' side of it as well, you understand shape a lot more.
Yes,
and it helps you in your barbering. Some of the best barbers I know have been ladies hairdressers.
Yeah,
Really have.
When I went to Sassoon School, and within 10 minutes of me starting there, the tutor said, "You're a barber," because he could see the way that I held the tools. He knew that I'd come from the gents trade and not the ladies.
Yeah, definitely.
But having both skill sets is absolutely invaluable because I dip either side of the divide.
Yeah. Well, Robert, just before we go, I know Simon's finished off, but just quickly, just give everybody, you are the company of master barbers in Southport. We didn't do the bio with you, but I know you gave us plenty of information. You lovely premises in Southport, absolutely beautiful shop. You've got multiple members of your family working with you as well. It's an actual pleasure to have you on. But just quickly before we go, where do you see all this? Are you carrying on till you drop, or where do you see barbering going in the future? Do you think the pandemic, we're going to come out of this stronger, or where do you think it's all going to go, and where do you see yourself? I know you're an average bike fan. I know you're doing something ridiculous like 300 miles a week on your bike now because you've had a new hip and you're a bionic man. But just before Simon finishes off, where do you think it's all going? Where do you think we are?
I think we've got a lot of catching up to do. I think lockdown's done not irreparable damage to the trade, but it's going to alter the trade. You know, I think we've all got to get as slick as we possibly can, as professional as we can, and just try hard. But whether we catch up or not, I don't know. If, as I say, it's intrinsically changed. It's going to be a different industry when we go back. They've got used to home hairdressing. They've got used to. They've got out of the habit of coming into the shop. Your weekly guy, your 2 weekly guy, your 3 weekly guy. They've gone 13, 14 weeks. So they're out of sync now, and it's going to take a lot of recapturing, I think.
Yeah.
Lots of people are asking if you can do a Scottish accent, because people are saying you look like Sean Connery tonight. Have you got a Scottish accent in you?
No, but I've got an eyebrow that I can.
There you go. There's the answer to your questions.
By the way, Sean Connery's as stiff as dead.
But you're not. You're here, and you look fantastic. You look amazing. Your beard looks amazing. I know you're going to shave it off, but you are an amazing guy and a fantastic ambassador for this industry. Rob, we're going to finish off with some quick fire questions just to build a little profile for our viewers. So, Rob, what's your favourite food?
Favourite food? Tornado Rossini.
Italiano.
No. Well, yeah, it was a Scoffier, so it's actually French.
It's a fillet steak wrapped in Parmesan with a bit of cheese in it.
No. Foie gras and toast and Madeira sauce.
Oh, completely different than what I thought it was.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
fillet beef
steak with foie gras pate on a slice of toast.
It's nice. It's rich, but it's nice. If I have that, I have gout for about 6 weeks. What's your favourite drink, Rob?
Favourite what? Drink. Oh, Red Zinfandel.
Red wine, I'm going to put.
Oh no! That's too broad a description.
What's your favourite destination?
Seychelles.
Nice. Expensive taste. That's what gets, guys, if you're listening, sell lots of retail, you can go to Seychelles. What's your favourite music?
David Gray.
Nice. And if you could go for one night for dinner with somebody, who would you want to be? Could be past or present, dead, alive. Who would you like to have dinner with?
Oh, if it's dead, Tutankhamun.
For a Yorkshireman, you give me some right. This is supposed to be quick.
That's just for one question, though.
That's it. All right, we've got Robert Ricks here, 6 decades in the industry, true gent from the Master Barbers in Southport. You can follow him. The details will be coming up on the screen, or you can follow us on his website afterwards, which is the barbersarms.co.uk. All Robert's information will be up there, and you can follow the Master Barbers. Him and his son Dan run a fantastic business there. He's a true gent, and we'll see him in the next 2 weeks with a clean shaven beard. But Rob is having his favourite food, which is a Tanida Rissan. He's having his favourite drink, which is a red Zinfandel. He is in his favourite destination, which is the Seychelles. And he's listening to some David Gray music, and he's doing all this with the Tutankhamun. Robert Ricks in the house, Barber's Arms. Nice to have you.
Thanks for having me on. Cheers.
Robert, it's been an absolute pleasure, sir. I hope very soon I can come up and see you and the family, Dan, and all the family. We'll have a pint. Hope you're very busy in 2 weeks' time. So I'll give you a couple of weeks till he drops off a cliff, and then I'll come up and see you for a quick pint, mate. All the very best.
Worry.
Thanks for coming on the show.
That is the worry, Gary. If it does replicate what happened last time, terrifically busy and then drops off. That's the scary part. But let's hope it doesn't happen this time.
Fingers crossed, bro. Send my
Okay.
love to the family. Dan, if you're watching, all the best, bro. Guys, great guest tonight.
Yeah, you know what? How on earth are we going to fit the news desk in with the BarberEVO guy? We don't have enough time. We're going to have to extend the show to 2 hours at this rate.
Well, it's coming up, as I say, next week as well on the show. This show's going to get better and better. From international back to the UK next week, we've got Joey Power and Joe Sloan joining us from Love to Create 88 in Essex. They're going to be joining us on the show. And then we've got Nergish, Wadia, Austin from the Fab Standard going to be joining us on Barber's Arms next Friday, which is Good Friday. Me and Gaz are going to do one for the team. We're going to work over a bank holiday because there's no else to do, is there? You can't go out anywhere. Or you can meet, I think 6 of you can meet outside, but weather pending. And I'm going to say to everybody, do the right thing. You know, there's no point us all blasting out over Easter when there's no to do. We've done it for this long. Every weekend's like an Easter weekend at minute, innit? We're not grafted. So just be careful. Let's just make sure we get back to work. There's no spikes. We've seen it in other countries where it's drifting up and stuff. Let's just keep it nice. And you all want to be back and you want some longevity now. You don't want any more lockdowns. But great guest next week with Joey and Joe Sloan and Nergish coming on. Really looking forward to that one, guys. Great show tonight. You did a great tribute to Bill. He'd have been really proud of that tonight. I know you used to watch this show every week. You used to send me messages saying, you know, the show gets better and better every week. And I know he'd have been really proud of what you did tonight. So really thank you for your tribute to Bill, and I'm sure the family will as well. So thank you for that tonight. Guys, been an action-packed show. We've had lots of news tonight. Obviously, BarberEVO's joining us as the new news desk. Chris Vaughn from California, the Beverly Hills Barber, and we've had Robert Ricks on as well from Master Barbers in Southport. Hope you've all enjoyed tonight's candor, and we're coming up 3 episodes away from our big 50, but we're only 2 episodes away from our 1-year anniversary. So, guys, We've got some great stuff lined up. We've got lots of videos lined up for people of past guests that's been on there. So we're really looking forward to showcasing all that in the next couple of weeks. So every Friday night, I know you're going to be back in 2 weeks on Monday. For every Friday night, still keep tuning in. This is going to carry on whether you're open or not. We're going to be serving you every Friday night. Have a great weekend I'm going to pass over to Gaz in a sec, but have a great weekend. I just want to say, Gaz, and I'm sure you'll back me up on this one, tonight's show dedicated to the one and only.
That's it, mate. The one and only Bill Shaw. Great guy. Great guy for the industry. Absolute giant. So everybody, folks, Simon said what we needed to say. The show's going from strength to strength. We love you all. Thank you very much for watching. All our new guests, Sandra J. Potts and everybody else who's joining us new on the show and all around the world. Thank you, and just look after each other. Bill Shaw, we salute you. Good night and God bless everybody.